Hi, I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach, and this is the Organize Your Life podcast. In every podcast, I'll talk about an organizing, decluttering, productivity, or time management concept, and I'll tell you why it's important. I'll include an action step at the end so you can start practicing right away, all in just 5 minutes. My specialty is chunking down these big topics so they aren't overwhelming. That's the concept for the podcast, too. I'm now done with the material from my first book, 52 Simple Ways to Get Organized. If you want the book, you can find it on my website or on Amazon. And you can view the show notes for this podcast on my blog. If you have questions or would like me to talk about a particular topic, just shoot me an email at claire@cluttercoach.net. I would love to hear from you. Keep in touch by getting on my mailing list. It's under the Free Stuff tab on my website, cluttercoach.net. Okay, here we go. Hi, gang. It's almost the end of the year. I've been doing this podcast for 2.5 years now. When I look at my stats, I see that people are listening to the whole thing, all the way to the end. That is excellent. I purposely make this podcast short and cut out the fluff so that you won't want to turn it off. Seems to be working. I'm also excited about how many great reviews and ratings I have on iTunes. I'm up to 103 ratings, almost all 5-star, and 24 reviews. Woohoo! I came up with a sentence that summarizes the podcast that's ready for you to tweet if you're on Twitter. Here it is. Short, doable tips to manage your time, your stuff, and organize your life with Clutter Coach Claire. #organize, #time management, #productivity. I am at Claire Tompkins on Twitter. You can find the statement in the show notes on my blog if you want to copy it from there. Thanks in advance. Okay, onward. This is podcast 109, and it's about delegating. Delegating is a critical skill to master if you want to get ahead in your career. It means many things. It means clearly and concisely handing off jobs to employees and mentoring them to work independently and not micromanage them. If you're self-employed, it could mean hiring a virtual assistant to free up your time for higher-level planning and strategizing that only you can do, or purchasing content for your website. It's also helpful at home. At home, it could mean paying people to do things such as cleaning, or, my personal favorite, get those kids to start pitching in at home, not only to give you more free time, but to teach them important life skills, even if they break a few dishes along the way. Delegation is often mentioned as not only one of the most important skills to learn, but one of the most difficult. That's because it involves soft skills like trust and releasing control. It gets into fuzzy areas that makes people worry about not being valued at work or losing credibility and respect. People understandably can get attached to specific jobs that they do. They're proud of their work, they get kudos for it. Then they get that longed-for promotion, and now they're thrown into a new pond with new tasks that they haven't mastered, and little of that comforting feeling of accomplishment that they used to enjoy. This ownership of a job and reluctance to let it go can bleed over into perfectionism, and you know how much I hate that. That's when you're convinced that no one will do a job as well as you can, so you need to keep doing it. The truth is, the first part of that statement may be true, but you still have to let it go. Certainly nobody will do it the way you do it, exactly. But when you release control, you may discover that the job gets done in a new, creative way that might even be better than what you used to do. Lack of delegation holds up the whole parade. It wastes time and overworks the folks who don't delegate and frustrates the ones who could be delegated to. To illustrate what I mean and to offer a bit of comic relief for this end-of-the-year podcast, listen to what's happening down on the farm. Well, howdy, farmhand Joe. Welcome to the farm. I see you're ready to do the plowing. You look plenty strong. Oh, look at those muscles. But I ain't decided which field to plant yet, so you can't plow. Howdy do, farmhand Jill. I know you want to get started cultivating the soil. That's what I hired you for. But I ain't showed you how to do it yet. And by golly, it's just easier to do it myself. Well, hey there, farmhand Sarah. I know you got the know-how to plant the seeds. That's mighty fine. But I can't give you any seeds till I sit down and figure out what to plant. You see, our poor farmhands are left to sit on their hands while Farmer Dave struggles to keep the farm going pretty much by himself. Now that don't make no sense. So here's what you can do right now. Look around for places in your life, either at work or at home, where you could be delegating tasks that are taking you away from more important jobs, that someone else needs to be mentored to do, or that another person might even do better. Remember, nothing is perfect, and you aren't the ruler of the universe, and that's a good thing. Happy holidays, and see you next year. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach. If you like the show, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review in iTunes. You can subscribe, too, so the podcast will be ready and waiting for you to listen to it. The show is available on SoundCloud and Stitcher as well. And you'll find the show notes on my blog at www.cluttercoach.net. And again, please come visit me on livecoach.io and get that gift certificate while the offer lasts. LiveCoach offers a money-back guarantee after your first month, so there's no risk. See you next time.